Today is going to do TPX13B. This is one of 3 parts for this assessment task. This one will require you to open the track and save it as TPX13B over here, actual session file using compression - your name, because I need to view it. So this is also on your DVD. So what I want to do is want to open this up in Reaper. Go File, Open. I'm going to go to exercise list, TPX13B, and click on using compressors. So once that's loaded, I'm going to go back to my worksheet. I'll click on this, and this is the template. So what you need to do is do this also. File, make a copy, delete the copy of, and put this, put your name at the end. So student name will be your name on there. Click OK. Once that's done, make sure you share it with this to my email address, ropeeducation@gmail.com, so I can mark it, and click done. So once you've done that, we're going to read through this. So basically, in this document it says, this session includes a recording of song where original recording is mostly uncompressed. Using the knowledge gained from part 1 of this exercise, TPX13A, the one you've done before, use compressors on the tracks that you feel most need dynamic control, compression. Here are a few compression approaches and tasks to try if you need some direction. So this is a guideline, but it wants you to sort of put compression on all the tracks. So this is a multi-track recording. So what we're going to do is just solo the kick drum first, and we're just going to follow these suggestions that this worksheet gives us. So basically it's not just following these 3, 4, 5 points that it hinted for you to compress. This is just like a guide to show you when you do, but you need to do the rest of the other tracks on there also. So if we go back to the tracks on here, we'll have a fair bit of instruments for you to compress. So we've got arpeggiated guitar on here. So if I solo this, so most of the instruments might need compression. In fact, most of them or all of them. The guidelines on this worksheet sort of give you an idea of how to compress for what type of instruments: kick, snare, sustaining bass sound. A sustaining bass can be sort of like a guitar playing chords, so you might have similar compression but with a different threshold. Piano, vocal, but you get the idea. On here, we're going to do the kick drum, and we'll probably do the bass just as an example so you know what to do. So I want to go to kick drum on Reaper. Just want to highlight where the kick drum is. So this will be the kick drum here. And we're just going to compress the kick. So you can hear it. And what we'll do is we'll go around here where the loudest parts are. And I'm going to loop record this. So I'm going to enable that and just press play. Once I've done that, I'm just going to maximize this window and put a compressor on here. So I'll be this track over here. Focus, recomp. Then I'm going to set the levels as per worksheet suggested. So it's asking for -20, threshold about suggested threshold about -20. But we're going to set ratio to 4:1 or 5:1. I want to set it to 5:1 for this one. 5, and it's here. So this is ratio tab here. Attack slow, when I set this for 20-30 milliseconds, we'll put 30 milliseconds on here. So attack is at 3 milliseconds, so we'll just type 30. Release, 60-80 milliseconds, and we'll just type it here. We'll type 80 for this one. So it's up to you. You sort of have to play around to experiment to what sound you like. Softening function if available. We don't really have one in here. And makeup gain. So makeup gain, if it compresses too much, we need to boost the signal up. So I'm going to put the threshold at -20 for now. -20. See what it sounds like. So that's compressed. This is with the compressor on, this is with it off. what we can do is we can boost this up on here. So the wet signals we're going to reboost up a little bit to get the volume up a little bit. So this is compressed on there. So this is one done. So if you like the sound, just experiment, because it's just the guidelines to see how much you understand on this actual task. So if you think this is right, continue to the next one. There's no right or wrong. These are just guidelines to make sure that you understand how to use these dynamic processes and show an actual understanding. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the next one. I'm going to pick, say, sustaining bass. So I'm going to go to the bass track. So I'm just going to unclick this so I can see where the bass is. So this is the bass one. I'm going to unmute this one. Just want to minimize this and maximize the bass. I want to compress this. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to View Mixer so I can solo this track. Show that down below. And on here, I'm going to load up Recomp. Click OK. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these suggested settings, -32 dB on here. Type in -32 dB, enter. Go back to worksheet, ratio 2.5 to 1. Fast tack 7 milliseconds, so tack's over here, 7 milliseconds, so you can see the tack over here. And the release, 340 milliseconds. And look up for 12 to 15 dB of gain reduction. So gain reduction is how I see this is through this bit when I play the track. So right now that's 13 gain reduction. We want a little bit more. I'll try to get that to 15 on this window. So yeah. So sort of close, so we won't get it accurate, it won't be exactly the same. Basically what I've done on this is I've only done 2 parts of all of these tracks, which you actually need to do to give some form of compression on there. So the worksheet gives you suggested tasks to try out so you can have a listen on how it affects certain types of instruments, but you need to compress majority of all the tracks in this recording over here. So if I minimize this, you need to basically do some form of compression on all these tracks and then save it and hand it to me. Once you've done that, you need to do one written question down below here. It says part B. The session also includes a stereo bounce of the same song, also without much compression at all. Once you have completed the balance using compressors on individual tracks solo the stereo mix track and set a stereo compressor, plug it over the whole mix. Then it will ask you, in the space provided below, describe a different response of the compressors when used on individual tracks within this mix, and then when one compressor is used to control the whole mix. So your answer down below here. So the stereo mix in Reaper is located here, where it says stereo mix BIP. BIP means bounce in place. So I'm going to solo this, load up the mixer. Now I want to put, so this is the final recording. I want to put a compressor on it. And it's just going to ask you what's your conclusion when you adjust the threshold and different ratio settings. What happens to the actual sound of this mix. So do it to what you think sounds best and then write your conclusion in there. That's it for this task.